Liam adjusted the rearview mirror, glancing back at his daughter Emma, who was silently doodling in her sketchbook. The heater in the old pickup truck barely worked, and the windows fogged slightly from the cold, damp air. Outside, rain poured down in steady sheets, turning the streets into glistening rivers. He'd just picked up a box of donated groceries from the food bank. Not much, but enough to last a couple of days. The silence between him and Emma was peaceful, familiar. Life hadn't been easy, but they had each other, and that counted for more than anything. Asterisk, as he drove past the old pharmacy on Main Street, something caught his eye. A woman crouched beneath a narrow bus stop roof, her arms around two small children who looked no older than 5 or 6. All three were soaked, their clothes clinging to their skin, shivering from the wind. Liam's fingers tightened on the steering wheel. He drove a few more feet, then sighed, turned sharply, and pulled over beside them. Asterisk rolling down the window, he leaned out, letting the rain hit his arm. "Hey," he called gently. "You folks okay?" Asterisk the woman looked up slowly. Her eyes were guarded, but exhaustion lined her face. Her dark hair was plastered to her forehead, and the kids clung to her legs like shadows. "We missed the shelter cutoff. Everything's full tonight," she said in a hoarse voice. "There's nowhere left to go." Asterisk Liam hesitated. He wasn't rich, not even close. Most nights, he counted coins to buy dinner, but something in her voice, in the way her kids looked up at him with wide, scared eyes, made the decision easy. Asterisk, "I'm taking my daughter to grab something warm to eat. There's a place not far from here. Dottie's Diner. It's not fancy, but it's dry. You can come with us if you want." Asterisk, the woman blinked, clearly unsure whether to trust him. But then she glanced down at her children, whose lips were starting to turn blue, and nodded. Asterisk, "I'm Ava," she said softly. "Thank you. I didn't know what else to do." Asterisk, "No worries," Liam replied, unlocking the back door and waving the kids in. "I'm Liam. That's Emma, my daughter. Hop in." Asterisk Ava helped her kids into the truck, murmuring thanks as they settled in next to Emma, who offered a quiet smile. As Ava climbed into the front seat, soaking the fabric, she clutched her arms around herself tightly. The heater coughed, barely warm, but in that small space, something fragile and human flickered, a shared understanding of hardship. Asterisk Liam glanced at her sideways. "You okay?" Asterisk, "I will be," she whispered. "Thanks to you." Asterisk he didn't say anything, just nodded, and turned back onto the wet street, the headlights cutting through the storm, as they headed toward the neon glow of the diner up ahead. Asterisk the bell above the glass door jingled softly as they entered Dottie's Diner, its warm air a stark contrast to the chill outside. The smell of coffee, syrup, and grilled bacon wrapped around them like a blanket. Liam gave Ava a gentle nod as she helped her twins out of their wet coats. The kids looked around with wide eyes, staring at the retro checkerboard floor and faded red booths like they'd just stepped into a dream. Asterisk, a tired-looking waitress with a name tag that read Kathy greeted them with a smile. "Rough night, huh?" she said kindly, leading them to a booth near the back. Liam and Ava sat across from each other, the kids and Emma squished into one side, drying off under the diner's buzzing ceiling heater. Asterisk menus weren't needed. Liam waved a hand. "Just some pancakes for the kids. And coffee for the grown-ups, if it's hot." "You got it?" Kathy said, disappearing with a wink. As they waited, the children warmed up. Emma pulled out her sketchbook and crayons and began drawing, occasionally glancing up at Ava's twins. Ava watched her curiously, then turned her attention to Liam. Asterisk, "You didn't have to do this," she said, brushing damp hair behind her ear. Asterisk, "I know," Liam replied, rubbing his hands together for warmth. "But I've been there. You don't. Forget what that feels like." Asterisk Ava hesitated, then said, "I had a good job once. Finance, office with windows, salary, benefits, the The whole thing. Then my husband died. Suddenly, I lost everything trying to pay off his hospital bills, one thing after another, until there was nothing left. Liam nodded solemnly, his eyes focused on the Formica tabletop. I know that spiral. Lost my wife to cancer 4 years ago. Left me with Emma and a mountain of debt. Every day's a juggle. Ava looked at him, something tender flickering in her expression. How do you stay so calm? Liam gave a crooked smile. Because freaking out doesn't fix anything, but a warm meal helps. So does kindness. At that moment, Kathy returned with plates stacked high with pancakes and whipped butter. The kids gasped with excitement, their faces lighting up as they began to eat. Emma finished her drawing and silently pushed it across the table to Ava. It was a crayon portrait of Ava and her twins, smiling, their arms linked together in front of the very booth they sat in now. Ava's lips trembled as she looked at it. This is beautiful, she said softly. She's so talented. She draws how she sees people, Liam said with pride. Always finds the good in them. For a few minutes, the booth was filled with quiet joy. Kids eating, adults sipping lukewarm coffee, a sense of peace settling over them like a fragile snowfall. For Ava, who hadn't felt safe in weeks, and for Liam, who hadn't expected anything but a simple dinner, it was a moment that didn't feel cheap at all. It felt priceless. The meal was winding down. Plates smeared with syrup and crumbs sat empty in front of the children, who now leaned sleepily against each other, warm and full. Liam reached into his pocket, pulling out his worn leather wallet, carefully counting the few crumpled bills he had left. He glanced at the check placed quietly at the edge of the table, mentally calculating how much this unexpected kindness would set him back. But before he could slip the cash under the salt shaker, Kathy returned, wiping her hands on her apron. She glanced at the bill, then shook her head with a confused smile. Oh, no need. It's been taken care of. Liam looked up, surprised. By who? Kathy pointed gently to Ava. Her. It's all covered. Liam furrowed his brow and turned toward Ava. Wait, I thought you didn't have... But Ava wasn't paying attention. She was on her phone, her voice low and professional. Yes, this is Ava Dorsey. I'm at the East Park location. Everything looks good. Clean, kind, staff, welcoming atmosphere. Tell the regional manager I'm impressed. We'll keep the current team in place and offer bonuses next quarter. Liam stared at her, confused, trying to piece the words together. East Park location. The manager of the diner, a man in his late 50s wearing a white button-up and a slightly panicked expression, came rushing out from the back. Ms. Dorsey. Hi, I'm so sorry I didn't know you were coming tonight. We usually get a call. Ava gave him a gentle smile, raising a hand. It's okay, Mark. I wanted to come unannounced. You're doing a great job here. The manager blinked, then nodded quickly before retreating, still flustered. Liam blinked slowly. Hold on, Ms. Dorsey. Ava Dorsey, as in, the founder of Dottie's Diner. Ava gave him a sheepish smile, looking suddenly a bit nervous. Guilty. You own this place? He asked, stunned. I started it, she said quietly, with my grandmother's recipes. After I lost everything, I realized food was the one thing that brought people together. So I built something, from the ground up. It grew faster than I ever expected. I've been traveling around the country, visiting locations in secret to see how real people are treated when they think no one's watching. Liam sat back in the booth, completely floored. But, tonight, on the street, I thought, you were I was cold, wet, exhausted, Ava said gently. I wasn't pretending. I wanted to feel what it was like again, to be invisible. And you? She looked at him, her voice softening. You didn't look away. You didn't ask for anything. You just helped. Asterisk. He stared at her for a long moment, struggling for words. I don't know what to say. Asterisk. You don't have to say anything, Ava replied. Just know this. People like you are rare, and I want people like you on my team. Asterisk. He blinked. Wait, what do you mean? Asterisk. She smiled. I need someone to help oversee renovations and local projects across the region. It's a steady job, good pay, benefits. Think of it as an investment in someone I believe in. Asterisk. Liam was stunned, silent. For the first time in years, he felt something shift in his chest. Hope. Emma looked up from her sketchbook, sensing the moment. She smiled at her dad, and he gently took her hand. Asterisk. Ava stood and gathered her sleepy twins. This might have started as a simple meal in a cheap diner, she said, pausing before turning to go. But sometimes, the biggest blessings come dressed in the simplest disguises. Asterisk. Liam watched her walk out into the night, the rain, now only a mist. And in that quiet booth, beneath the hum of neon lights and the smell of fresh coffee, a new beginning quietly unfolded. Asterisk.